Hello and welcome to part 5 of the model railway build. Today's video is going to be about the depot scene / siding area, which can you see in front of you, and how we have formed it so far. So in front of you, this is a Scaledale building which I've actually cut and to make it smaller so it fits in the smaller siding, so we can have an engine shed. And then I've used filler just to fill in the gaps, and then I'm going to weather that until hopefully hide it. But it's missing doors, and it's got a few cracks in it because I dropped it. And it's one of them things, it's resin, it's broken then straight away. But that's what we're going to be doing with that. So the smaller siding will be the engine shed. So I'm going to paint down and sort of give a sort of a concrete floor effect. And then the other siding will be just for either a couple of like stores, a couple of wagons, and then I'll add a few bits of bobs to go around it. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out for any further ones. So all I'm using is a test pot of paint because it's only a 3 foot by 2 foot layout, and I've gone for a dark grey to try and give it that concrete sort of hard floor effect. And then all I'll do, I'll give it a couple of coats, and then hopefully that will just give it enough impact, because there'll be an engine or something in there anyway, but it just gives it that look which I'm trying to aim for. So while that paint dries, I've moved on to the other side, and all I'm going to do is put a layer of PVA glue down, like I've done before, brush it out, and I'm going to put down some sort of brown sort of ballast down to give it like a bit of a mud effect, and then I will have like a little couple of buildings and maybe sort of like spare track sleepers, sort of give it like an old sort of spare sort of siding area where you can store a few bits and bobs, which you see at Heritage Railway. So all I'm doing with an old brush is spreading it out. I'll probably go with a better brush again in a minute because this one's not very good, but again, this is using cheap PVA glue, nothing fancy or anything. And then once that's spread out, I'm just using this simple ballast. It's brown ballast, got this for about £4 or £5, something like that. And all I'm going to do is going to layer it over the PVA glue, and then with a brush, just brush it over, let that dry, and probably give it 24 hours to make sure it's fully set. Hoover off any excess with a little hand vacuum, and then I will go over with a syringe, bit like I'll do with the ballast, and make sure it's all sealed with a glue water mixture. So just spreading over the brush, and then hopefully that just fills in that gap quite nicely, gives it a bit of different colour to the ballast. And I didn't want to use static grass because I've got a field to put in at a later date as well, so hopefully this will look quite good. And what I've decided to do, I'm going to do exactly the same again, but on the other side. So this will be the other side of the engine shed, and where the other siding will be, but I'm going to do exactly the same. So I'm not going to show you how I do that because it's just going to look exactly the same. So moving on, I'm going to now ballast the siding area, and I will do the point as well. I've decided to do this after the brown area, just because this will then go over it. I wanted to make like that sort of earthy effect was already there. So you've seen me do this process before on the other bits of the track, so I won't go too much detail, but again, just spreading it out with a brush, then going over with a PVA/water mixture with a bit of fairy liquid, and then I'll give that 24 hours to set, and then hoover any excess up. But it seems to be working so far really well. But yeah, and then I'll go over this with a bit of weathering at a later stage to try and give it like a dirty, grubby feel, as it's a siding, and it's not used very often, or it stores dirty old wagons, etc. So I've not put down the PVA water mixture down yet, but this is how it's going to look. So I'm quite happy with that so far, and everything seems to be going well. So with my 50% water glue mixture and my trusty syringe, we'll go over this area and then lock it all into place, and then with a tiny little brush move any ballast off the sleepers or off the track where I don't want it. Again, the idea is to go as slow as you can. Try not to go too far and not put too much on at time, and just let it soak through the ballast and through the track. So as you can see, it's come out okay. And then with the remaining glue water mixture, I'm going to go over the brown area and just lock that all into place. But I'm pretty happy with this so far. And if I zoom in a bit, I can just show you actually a bit more detail how it's dried. So it's looking okay. Like I said earlier, I've got to weather this bit especially because I don't want it to look too clean because it's a siding. And then that will be where the engine shed will sit. But it's just make sure you take your time on sort of points because you don't want them to get jammed up. And then the fun bit now begins. So I've added a layer of glue, and then I've done this many times. I'm just adding green shrubbery in just to break up the scene. And then I've added a few bits and bobs in to try and add a bit more detail into the scene. So got a couple of sleepers there, a cable reel, a little sort of shed, a piece of old track that I've rusted up before. There's my engine shed, which I've added a bit of colour to and tried to hide the filler. Now I've got a few bits and bobs around the other side, and I'll have a crane. But yeah, it's looking quite good so far. And then, as you can see, that's my building. You can see where the drawing is, but I'm going to hide that with a bit of weather in it, and then trees and a bit more greenery. But it should look okay, hopefully. For saying I cut this in half, it looks quite good. So I'll show you how that comes out in a second. And this is the finished article. Hopefully you think it's quite good, because I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. And then you've got the Dapol Hawthorn, and it's the Henry version just going around. So I've added a little bit of detail in front of the engine shed now, so a bit of ballast, like it's a footpath and a bin. And then hopefully you can see it's like that concrete floor effect I was trying to go with that. And this is me damaged / chopped in half engine shed. So I put a tree there just to blend it in. I've tried to blend in the roof a bit more. And then around the other side we've got a tree. Just wait for that to pass again. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. And then around here I've got a crane now as well, for the siding. And then if I move the tree a bit, you can see where it originally was, but that sort of blocks the view a bit quite nicely and adds a bit of height as well. There's a few other things I need to add. So the crane does move, but I can add like people and a few other bits and bobs, and I want to add a bit of weathering, like I said earlier on, to the siding. But otherwise that's done. That's how we've done with that. And then in the next video we're going to be looking at this section which I've started now, so I did the grass in the middle. But I'm really pleased with this, how it's turned out. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully we will see you on the next video where we look at creating the field and potentially looking a bit more at the road and the coal merchants. But for now, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.